What's good, family? Glad to see you back here again. I think today I've got to go get some keys made. As a wise person once said, one key is too close to having no keys. If you know, you know. This underground car park got my bike looking dusty, man. I've blown off most of it. But we move. I ain't washed this bike since I've had it, so I can't even really chat, to be honest. But yeah, it's a bit of a trip to North London. Listen to that. So yeah, we've got a bit of a trip to North London. Said about an hour 15 to get there. We'll see how I do once we get on the roads. I think while we're on there, I want to sort of touch on something that people often touch on. It's a bit morbid, but I think sort of has to be spoken about. But let this bike warm up, and then once we get on the roads, we'll get chatting. Alright, back in just a sec. And we're back. So before I get too deep into the channel, cross, I just want to highlight a few of the downsides there are when it comes to being a biker. Now, already, as most know, being on a bike, you're far more vulnerable when you're out on the roads. And being far more vulnerable, you have to be switched on far more than when you're behind the steering wheel. It's something that we all know, something that we all understand. And it's a risk that we take every time we jump out and go for a ride on our bikes. Now, it's been a few years since I've actually been actively riding, but I would say since jumping on this bike and having this bike for the last 2 months, I'm conscious of at least 3 deaths that have been reported. Look at these people. So there's been 3 deaths that I've been made aware of in the biker community in the 2 months since I've had my bike. Now, I don't know the specifics of those cases. I don't know if it was rider error, if it was driver error, if it was the condition of the roads, that whatever it may be. I just know that we've lost 3 people. Now, it's coming to that time of year where the weather conditions, I mean, we're in UK, the weather is never really that great. But getting into winter, the weather's even worse. The roads are slippery. We've already got roads that are nothing but potholes. As you can see in front of us, we've got manhole covers littering the roads. You've got the white lines. All these stuff become additional hazards as the weather turns for the worst. Whether that be through rain, through snow, through ice, whatever it may be. And you just have to take extra care when you're out there. A benefit to riders in the winter is that, especially if you're a new rider, learning in the winter could actually do you some favors. Because the conditions are worse, you take better care when you're riding, or we hope you do. Because you take better care when you're riding, you actually learn more and progress better. So that now when summer does come, when the weather's a lot better, we've got more light throughout more of the day, the conditions are just that much sweeter, that's when you can sort of build on those experiences, build on those lessons that you learned during the winter. Easy lad. So even in my videos you're gonna see me using AI to go above and beyond what we all know we should be doing. And we understand that at any moment anything can happen, something can go wrong through no fault of our own. But going back to some of my previous points that I mentioned in my last video, you've got to know and understand your skill level, know what you're comfortable with doing, and accept whatever comes your way as a result. Now this isn't saying do dangerous stuff and just, it is what it is, but there's a feeling that a lot of people get when they're riding that you just can't explain to others that don't ride. So I think on this ride, which is going to be a nice, easy, cool one, I'll probably go over some points, some things I do while I'm riding, to sort of keep vigilant. And because of my history, all of the vehicles that I can drive, I think my awareness is just that bit better than most, I would say. So a bit about that is, obviously I've been driving from I was a youth. Learned to ride on a 600. So it's an R6, 2001 R6 I think it was. Then once I got good at riding, got myself a 2003 R6. Then I had a Gixxer 600, I had a 750, which I didn't like too much. But I've had a number of bikes. I was a motorbike courier for a period of time. I was a van courier for a period of time. What am I still doing in this lane? Yeah, I was a van courier for a period of time. I can drive lorries, not articulate, but got my Cat C license. Wait, is this bus lane biker friendly? If it is, am I mugging myself off? Am I just chiefing myself? Let me just tuck in my mirrors and cut through. But yeah, got my Cat C so I can drive larger vehicles, minibus license, so I can drive, that's it, give me that space, 18 seaters or whatever they are, 17 seaters. I can drive medium wheel tractors, light wheel tractors, so they're considered loading shovels and all of that. So as a result, I used to cycle to commute. So I'm a driver, I'm a cyclist, I ride motorbikes, I drive vans, I drive trucks, I drive plant machinery, I drive all of this stuff on the road, which means I've got a greater awareness for the others that use the roads. On top of that, I've been riding and driving for years and years. So there's a lot of roads I'm familiar with. However, all of that is irrelevant due to the fact that I have no control over other road users. I have no foresight over oil spills or black ice in the winter or puddles that are more than just puddles, hiding potholes. I have no control over that. So as good as I think I am as a novice rider, there are hundreds, possibly hundreds of factors that are out of my control. And any one of those could throw me off this bike at any time. And one thing that you probably hear from a lot of other bikers is when you're riding and you're looking at other road users, ride as if everyone is trying to kill you, because they just might be. Go on, has he got the cheat code? Has he got the cheat code? Am I gonna have to tuck in these mirrors? Oh, let me just chill. So yeah, like even just then, instinct is, let me cut through. Let me get over to the left and cut through. The right is a bit tight. But you decide not to. Because what's the rush? And then that points me over to filtering. Filtering can be very risky, and having a good awareness can and will save your life. I could actually make that gap, but to save 1 or 2 spaces, or to make up 1 or 2 spaces, what's the point? Because I'm not in a rush for anything. Even if I was in a rush for something, again, what's the point? But a lot of the times when I'm riding or I'm driving, I'm looking in rear view mirrors of the vehicles in front. I'm looking at tyre positions where the vehicles are in relation to the white lines. I'm looking ahead to see how that driver's behaving. Has that driver got good lane discipline? Is he swerving left and right? Does that indicate he's either not paying attention or he's just a rubbish driver? I'm looking at gaps. All sorts of gaps, little gaps, big gaps. Especially when you're filtering. So just like that white Mercedes just there, there's an open space on the right. I have to be ready for any vehicle that wants to cut through. Same time, you've got to be ready for light changes, for moments like that when vehicles are about to shoot off. So a lot of the times when I come to the front of the light, I would never just park myself right in between 2 vehicles. I'd always go just ahead, and I always try to be ready for when the light changes, so I can get away from those vehicles and get myself away from any madness that they might want to get up to. Oh. But yeah, man, this is just a message to all, man. Just when you're out on your bikes, if you're on your motorbike, if you're a cyclist, if you're rollerblading, if you're on your scooter, pretty much anything outside of a car or a van or something like that, when you're treating the road like your playground, just be careful. Just assume that everybody out on the roads is trying to get you. There are people that don't know you're there, and there are people that don't care that you're there. So you've got to drive in a way, almost you've got to drive defensively. Because remember, if they knock you off the bike, they knock you off your scooter, they knock you off your cycle, your tribe, whatever, all they've got is a bit of a sore conscience. But I think I'm going to end that here, because I think I'm just going to end up rambling and just repeating the same thing over and over. But given recent events, I think someone died, I think it was last night. Someone died a couple nights before that. There was a death probably about a month ago now. Pretty much when I first got my bike and hadn't even really been out. So with those things happening, or me being made aware of those things happening now that I'm in the community, I think let me just be one more person that just sends that message out to everyone to ride safe, ride responsible. There are going to be times when you're going to want to open it up. We are all going to do it. There are going to be times we want to just pop wheelies in random locations. Again, just be smart about when you're doing it. Because again, when you go down by yourself. That's your responsibility. But if you take someone down with you when you're doing some of that madness, that's a whole different ball game at that point. So just a few things to think about. And I think as this channel progresses, there probably will be more discussions like this, because things are always going to happen. But there's going to be some fun moments, some exciting things going on too. So some people might look at me as being a hypocrite with this message, and then probably see some of the stuff that I do. But again, it goes back to what I said earlier. Until you're on a bike, if you're not a rider, you won't fully understand. To some people, riding is a therapy. And I'm a bit conflicted on that, because I understand it. Sometimes I just want to just jump on the bike and just go for a ride, just to relax, you know. So I don't have to deal with any responsibility or what have you. It's just me, the bike, the road. Nice little nod there. It's me, the bike, the road. Probably some tunes. Whether it's good or bad, that doesn't really matter. And I'm conflicted in that it's not a replacement for true therapy, if that's something that you need. If you're fighting demons, I don't think a bike should be therapy for those kind of situations. If you've got real issues going on in your life, I don't think the bike is what you need. And that's not what you really need to be jumping on. So, the way 2024 is going and beyond, I think there's this big push when it comes to mental health and discussing mental health. But that's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother topic. But for now, if you've made it all the way to the end, just know that I appreciate you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.